Something wasn't right. Whispers had turned into murmurs, and murmurs into a storm. The American people could feel it. Something was coming. And when it did, it would shake the nation like never before. Then, in a moment that would be remembered for years, Donald Trump and Elon Musk stepped forward. Their expressions were grave, their voices firm. They weren't here for politics. They weren't here for drama. They were here for the truth. A truth so disturbing, so explosive, that it could bring down one of the most powerful men in Washington. "My fellow Americans," Trump said, locking eyes with the nation, "you have been lied to." Musk, standing beside him, nodded. "We have uncovered evidence that will change everything." The room fell silent. News stations across the country cut their regular programming. Families leaned in, sensing that this wasn't just another speech. Then Trump said the name, Chuck Schumer. A gasp rippled through the air. The Senate Minority Leader, one of the most influential figures in American politics, was at the center of something far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Corruption wasn't just hidden in backroom deals or rigged elections. It was something deeper, something darker, and now Trump and Musk were ready to expose it. What they revealed next would change history forever. The cameras went live. Every major network tuned in. Across the country, people watched in silence, waiting for the moment that would change everything. Donald Trump stepped forward. His face was serious, his voice steady. He had faced many battles before, but this was different. He wasn't just exposing corruption. He was fighting for the soul of the nation. "My fellow Americans," he said, locking eyes with the camera, "for too long, the truth has been hidden from you. Tonight, that ends." Beside him, Elon Musk stood with his usual confidence. But there was no trace of humor. The weight of the moment was clear. He tapped a screen behind him and rows of numbers appeared. "We have uncovered fraud so deep, it threatens every hard-working citizen in this country," Musk said. His words were calm, but the reality behind them was anything but. The display behind him changed again. Official records filled the screen, documents, financial reports, government data. The numbers didn't lie. There are 394 million Social Security recipients in the United States, Musk explained, but the U.S. population is only 334 million. He turned back to the audience. "That means 60 million Social Security payments are going somewhere they shouldn't." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Households across America sat frozen, their eyes fixed on their screens. This wasn't a simple mistake. This was a crime, one that had stolen billions from American taxpayers. Trump's voice hardened. "And the person behind this massive fraud?" He reached for a thick folder, held it up for everyone to see. "Chuck Schumer." A heavy silence followed. Then chaos. News anchors stammered. Reporters scrambled for their phones. Social media exploded. The accusations weren't just shocking, they were devastating. Trump pressed forward. "While you struggle to pay your bills, while veterans go without the benefits they were promised, this man has been siphoning money into a system designed to keep his power intact." Musk nodded. "We have undeniable proof. This isn't speculation. This isn't theory. It's fact." People at home covered their mouths in disbelief. Some shook their heads, unable to process what they were hearing. Others clenched their fists, rage boiling inside them. The truth was out. The lies were exposed. And this was only the beginning. The room was silent, the weight of Trump's words pressing down like a storm about to break. He held up the folder, thick with evidence, and let the moment sink in. Then, with measured force, he spoke again. "For years, you were told Social Security was running out of money. You were told benefits had to be cut. But the truth is, the money wasn't gone. It was stolen." Musk stepped forward, tapping on the digital screen behind him. A series of bank transactions appeared, red numbers flashing against a dark background. "We traced the missing funds," he said, his voice even but firm. "What we found was worse than we expected." The numbers on the screen shifted, revealing a list of accounts, some tied to offshore banks, others masked behind fake names. "Billions of dollars," Musk continued, "diverted through fraudulent Social Security claims. And where did it go? He zoomed in on a highlighted name. The letters appeared in bold, unmistakable text. Chuck Schumer. Gasps rippled through the press room. Across the nation, millions sat in shock, their faces frozen in disbelief. Trump's expression darkened. This is not incompetence. This is not an accounting error. This is deliberate theft on a scale we have never seen before. He turned to Musk. Show them how it was done. The screen changed again, this time displaying official government records. Musk pointed at the entries. Schumer and his network created fake Social Security beneficiaries. Tens of millions of them. These were not real people. They were names on a list designed to funnel taxpayer money into hidden accounts. Anger spread through the audience. Families watching from their living rooms gripped their chairs, outrage building in their chests. Veterans, who had fought for their country only to struggle for benefits, clenched their fists. Senior citizens, who had barely scraped by, felt the sting of betrayal. Trump didn't hold back. While American families suffer, this man lined his pockets. While you struggled to put food on the table, he directed billions into a system of fraud. The news anchors covering the event struggled to find words. Some shook their heads, others murmured to their colleagues, trying to process the gravity of what had just been revealed. Musk's voice cut through the tension. This is just the first layer. The deeper we dig, the worse it gets. The country was waking up to the truth, and the outrage was only beginning. The room was already filled with tension, but what came next pushed the nation past the point of disbelief. Musk, his face unreadable, tapped his screen again. The numbers and bank records disappeared, replaced by something far more disturbing. Official intelligence reports stamped classified. We expected fraud, Musk said. What we found goes beyond that. The screen zoomed in on a document's headline. Foreign intelligence report, undisclosed ties to hostile entities. Murmurs swept through the press room. Reporters leaned forward, straining to see the details. At home, Americans sat on the edge of their seats. Trump folded his arms. His voice was steady, but his tone carried a weight that sent chills down spines. Chuck Schumer didn't just steal from the American people, he said. He sent your money, our money, to groups that want to see this country fall. Gasps filled the room. Musk continued. These aren't just offshore accounts. They are direct transactions to organizations flagged as high risk by the Department of Homeland Security. The screen changed again, revealing a list of payments. Each transaction was marked with dates, account numbers, and recipient names, names tied to known extremist groups. The money trails were undeniable. Trump's expression darkened. While veterans were denied their rightful benefits, while families struggled to make ends meet, Schumer was funneling billions into networks that work against America. The realization hit like a thunderclap. This wasn't just financial corruption. It was treason. People watching from their homes covered their mouths in shock. Some whispered in disbelief. Others clenched their fists. The betrayal was deeper than anyone had imagined. Musk turned to Trump. We cross-checked the accounts. These funds didn't stop at fraudulent Social Security payments. They were routed through shell companies, moving across borders, landing in accounts that should have been shut down years ago. Trump took a breath before delivering the next blow. And Schumer knew exactly what he was doing. A video played on the screen. It was Schumer, speaking at a press conference months ago, accusing Musk and Trump of trying to dismantle Social Security. His words rang hollow now. He lied, Trump said. He told you we were the enemy. But all along, he was the one betraying you. The reaction was immediate. Twitter, news channels, and discussion forums exploded. Americans had been deceived, and now they knew the truth. Musk looked out at the stunned audience. This is no longer about politics, he said. This is about the safety of every American citizen. Trump nodded. And we will not stop until justice is served. The press room erupted in chaos. Reporters shouted questions. Networks scrambled to adjust their headlines. But for the American people, there was only one question left. What happens next? The moment the accusations hit the airwaves, Schumer moved fast. Within hours, He appeared before reporters, his face tense, his voice strained. "This is an outrageous attack," he said, gripping the podium. "Nothing more than a political stunt designed to distract the American people." His words echoed through the crowded press room, but something was off. He wasn't his usual confident self. His hands shook. His eyes darted between cameras. He knew the walls were closing in, but the nation wasn't buying it. As Schumer stood there denying everything, Musk tapped into another database. His team had intercepted something even worse: emails sent directly from Schumer's office, instructing Democratic senators to block emergency relief bills. Musk didn't waste time. Hours after Schumer's press conference, he released the emails to the public. They weren't rumors. They weren't speculation. They were direct orders. Schumer's own words appeared on the screen. "Under no circumstances allow this bill to pass. We need the shutdown to continue." The reaction was instant. Americans who had struggled through delayed Social Security checks, hospitals that had faced funding cuts, veterans waiting for overdue benefits. They saw the truth. This wasn't about politics. This was about power, control, and greed. Trump, standing before the cameras once more, didn't hold back. "For years, he's told you he's fighting for you," Trump said. "But the truth is, he has only fought for himself." Crowds gathered outside government buildings. Protesters filled the streets. The signs were clear: "Schumer must go. Justice for the people. No more lies." And yet, Schumer still refused to step down. Instead, he went into hiding. His schedule was cleared, his public appearances canceled. He avoided reporters. No one knew where he was, but Musk did. His AI system tracked suspicious movements linked to Schumer's security team. A private estate far from Washington with heightened protection. It was clear what was happening. Chuck Schumer wasn't just denying the truth. He was planning his escape. The FBI raids. Is Schumer on the run? The pressure was mounting. Public outrage had reached its peak. The evidence was overwhelming, yet Chuck Schumer remained silent. No press statements. No public appearances. It was as if he had vanished. Trump, seated in the Oval Office, leaned forward as an aide handed him a classified report. His expression darkened. "Where is he?" he asked. Musk, focused on his tablet, pulled up a live satellite feed. "He's moving," he said. "Not in Washington anymore." The screen showed real-time security footage. Schumer's convoy, heavily guarded, speeding through back roads outside the city. He wasn't just avoiding the cameras. He was running. The FBI was already mobilizing. Special agents, armed with warrants and intelligence reports, closed in on multiple locations connected to Schumer. Offices, private residences, secret accounts. One of his suspected safe houses was raided first. Agents stormed in, documents were seized, computers were secured, but Schumer wasn't there. Only his staff, shaken, scrambling, caught off guard. Meanwhile, Musk's AI continued tracking his digital footprint. Bank movements, encrypted messages, last-minute withdrawals. "Something's not right," Musk muttered. He tapped a file. "We just traced nearly $1 billion to offshore accounts." Trump's jaw tightened. "Where?" Musk zoomed in. "Cayman Islands." A silence fell over the room. This wasn't just a political scandal anymore. This was an international escape plan in motion. As FBI teams raided Schumer's known locations, another signal popped up: an unscheduled flight request under an alias. Musk's eyes flicked toward Trump. "He's trying to leave the country." Trump's fist slammed the desk. "Not on my watch." Orders were given. Federal authorities scrambled to lock down all possible exit routes. Then, something unexpected happened. An informant came forward, someone from inside Schumer's circle. The tip-off was brief but explosive. Schumer had already left Washington hours ago. He wasn't just planning an escape. He was executing it. The news hit social media within minutes. Schumer on the run. FBI closing in. Will he be caught? Reporters chased leads. Protesters surrounded government buildings, demanding answers. America wasn't just angry anymore. They were furious. Trump turned back to Musk. "Tell me you can track him." Musk nodded. "Already working on it." The hunt had begun. Inside the White House, the tension was suffocating. Musk's fingers moved rapidly over his screen, scanning through layers of encrypted data. Then his expression changed. "We have him," he said. Trump leaned in. "Where?" Musk expanded the feed on the massive digital display. "A private jet took off from an undisclosed airstrip outside Washington," he said. "The flight plan was filed under an alias, but our systems traced the registration back to Schumer's network. The aircraft was heading south, straight toward Venezuela." Trump exhaled sharply. "So he thinks he can hide with our enemies?" Musk nodded. "It makes sense. No extradition treaties. A safe haven for fugitives." He swiped through more data. The last wire transfer just went through, millions funneled into offshore accounts. "He's securing his escape." Trump clenched his jaw. "He's not getting away that easy." Across America, the news spread like wildfire. The man accused of the greatest betrayal in modern history wasn't just avoiding justice. He was fleeing the country. Protests erupted. Thousands poured into the streets, chanting, waving flags, demanding action. The words on their signs were clear: no escape, no mercy. News channels broadcast breaking updates every second. Where is Schumer? Will he be stopped in time? Trump turned to Musk. "We need to act now." Musk's eyes didn't leave his screen. Already on it. The chase was on. The sun had barely risen when the operation began. A convoy of black SUVs rolled through the outskirts of Caracas, moving swiftly toward an estate surrounded by high walls and armed guards. Schumer thought he was safe. He was wrong. Inside the White House, Trump and Musk watched the satellite feed in silence. The compound's thermal scans showed movement. Schumer was inside. There was no time to wait. Federal agents, working with international operatives, closed in. The order was given. "Go!" The gate burst open. Heavily armed teams flooded the property, securing every exit. Guards scrambled, shouting in panic. Helicopters roared above, spotlights piercing the early morning haze. Inside, Schumer bolted toward the back, heart pounding. He grabbed his phone, dialing frantically, but it was too late. The door crashed open, agents pouring in. On the ground. "Now!" He froze, eyes darting around, searching for a way out. There was none. "You stole from America," one agent said, stepping forward. "And now you answer for it." Back in the U.S., millions watched in stunned silence as the news broke. The man who had once stood at the center of power was now in handcuffs. Trump turned to Musk, his expression firm. "We got him." The news spread within minutes. Screens across the country flashed the headline, "Schumer captured, justice delivered." In homes, offices, and public squares, people stood frozen, trying to process what had just happened. Then the silence broke. Cheers erupted. Strangers embraced. Car horns blared in celebration. Trump stepped onto the White House balcony, looking out at the massive crowd gathered below. American flags waved in the air. Banners demanding accountability stretched across the streets. He raised his hand, and the noise slowly died down. Then he spoke. "My fellow Americans." His voice rang out, firm and resolute. "Justice has been served. The corruption that drained this nation, that stole from the people, that betrayed our trust, has been exposed. No longer will your hard-earned money line the pockets of the powerful. No longer will you be deceived." Thunderous applause followed. People wiped tears from their eyes. Veterans saluted. Families who had lost everything under Schumer's fraud felt a sense of hope for the first time in years. Musk stood beside Trump, watching the moment unfold. When the crowd settled, he stepped forward. "This isn't just about one man," he said. "This is about restoring faith in our country. The people deserve leaders who serve them, not themselves." The crowd roared in agreement. Across the country, the celebrations continued. Fireworks lit up the night sky. Families sat together, relieved that the truth had finally come out. For the first time in years, America felt united. And this was only the beginning. The truth has been revealed. the betrayal exposed. Justice has begun. But this is not the end, it is only the start of something bigger. For years, the American people were lied to, their trust shattered. Today, they stand together, stronger than ever, demanding accountability. The fight for justice does not stop here. Now, it is your turn to speak. Do you believe in standing up for truth? Do you support leaders who fight for the people instead of serving themselves? Tell us in the comments below. Do you stand with Trump and Musk? Your voice matters. Your opinion shapes the future. Make sure you are heard. If this story moved you, if it made you feel the power of justice like this video, share it with others and subscribe for more updates. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment as this story continues to unfold. America is rising again, and you are part of this movement. The fight for truth is not over. It is just beginning.